Well, everybody, we've come to the end of 2018. And it's really hard to judge what's happened to WWE this year. There's been some good, there's mainly been some bad. And that's what I'm going to touch on today. Here are the top 10 things, the top 10 worst things that happened to WWE in 2018. Number 10, Raw's clean sweep at Survivor Series. Okay, technically it wasn't a clean sweep because SmackDown won the tag team elimination match on the pre-show, but seriously, how uncharacteristic of the company to not even count that win. Throughout the entire show, throughout the entire main show, Raw literally squashed SmackDown. In the past two Survivor Series, Raw has got the upper hand of SmackDown in 2016 and 2017. The Raw Women's match, the Raw Women won their match. AOP beat the Bar. Charlotte Flair got herself disqualified, getting Ronda Rousey the win. The men's Survivor Series team got their win. Seth Rollins beat Shinsuke, and Brock Lesnar went through Daniel Bryan. Even though it wasn't literally a clean sweep, that's what WWE wants it to be. Number 9, Backlash. Backlash was literally one of the worst pay-per-views of all time. Not even Seth Rollins and The Miz was going to save this match. There was Nia Jax supposedly injuring Alexa Bliss, Charlotte losing to Carmella of all people, that unnecessary segment with Elias and the New Day and Rusev Day and No Way Jose, Daniel Bryan and Big Cass, like that feud was ever needed. Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman squashing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura ending in a double countout and a no disqualification match. And then there was the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. That was so bad. This baby was so bad that fans literally walked out during the events. I don't know what is it with WWE, but sometimes they just hated to live up to the hype. And with this new era coming in, surely that will change. Number 8, Bayley and Sasha, friends or enemies? Okay, apparently Vince McMahon has never seen an NXT TakeOver before, but apparently what he didn't see was the NXT feud between Bayley and Sasha. Go back to that feud and see how amazing their feud was. Look how amazing how they play the heel and face roles so much. It all started at the Royal Rumble. Bayley got eliminated by Sasha, supposedly ending their friendship. Then there was Elimination Chamber, where Sasha got Bayley again. And then there was WrestleMania and the Women's War Battle Royal, where Bayley freaking eliminated Sasha. The two would have a blow-off match, but then it would be interrupted by the Riot Squad. So then, their relationship started getting rocky when Sasha drove away from Bayley. And then Bayley snaps and attacks Sasha. And instead of having them fight, instead of having them recreate the magic that they did at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 1, what does Kurt Angle do? He sends them to counseling. And now, as of this moment, Bayley and Sasha Banks are now back to being buddy-buddy with each other. Why they didn't go with the feud in the first place, I have no idea. But hey, that's what WWE is known for. Number 7, Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman. This all started just because Kevin Owens was trying to be friends with Braun Strowman. It all started at Money in the Bank, when Braun Strowman launched Kevin Owens off the top of the highest ladder in the match. And then Kevin Owens wanted to be friends with Braun Strowman, and Braun wasn't having any of it. So you're trying to tell me that Kevin Owens, who, case in point, had his car flipped over, was tipped over, and a freaking porta potty launched off a ladder, launched off a steel cage, and was mauled at SummerSlam. And we are supposed to boo him. That means we're supposed to cheer for Braun Strowman, the abuser in all of this. Yay, wrestling, I guess. I know that we all wanted Braun Strowman to be a babyface, but in this feud, he was not being viewed as a babyface. Hopefully, when he returns and heals up from his injury, he will go back to being a babyface without bullying anybody. Number 6, Roz Low Ratings. A big reason why this new era is happening and why the McMahons are taking over Raw and SmackDown is because of Raw's dreadful ratings in the past 2 Raw episodes. First, a big reason why Raw's ratings were low was just not that many fan interests. Harken back to the days of the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era are long gone because they're not doing anything with the roster anymore. Baron Corbin took over as Raw acting general manager and let the heels get away with everything they want. The tag team and women's division are not being taken seriously anymore. The Universal Championship is not even being on TV anymore. You do the math. And the baby faces are always getting buried. A big reason for that is because guys like Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Braun Strowman were not on TV at the time to make things interesting. Now that the McMahons are taking over and this new era is approaching, hopefully things will be better for Raw and SmackDown, especially for SmackDown because they're about to start their deal with Fox in October of 2019. Number 5, Brock Lesnar, Universal Champion. If it were not for Brock Lesnar beating Goldberg at WrestleMania 33, we wouldn't have to sit through one of the laziest, one of the worst title reigns of all time. Brock Lesnar barely showed up, didn't defend that belt at all. Like what? He defended like 5 times in 2017, and he only defended it like what? Like at the Royal Rumble and at WrestleMania. Wasn't he supposed to lose on that day? And at SummerSlam, when Roman Reigns put an end to the Lesnar Nightmare. And at SummerSlam, we thought the Lesnar Nightmare ended for good, and Lesnar was on his way back to UFC. But then Baron Corbin had to rear his ugly head in it. At the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, Baron Corbin basically spoon-fed the Universal Championship to Brock Lesnar, and he is the Universal Champion once again. I swear to God, we all have to pray that Braun Strowman dethrones Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship, so that way Strowman gets his long-awaited title reign, and the Universal Championship becomes relevant again, and Lesnar finally goes to the UFC and out of our lives for good. Number 4, Braun Strowman picking Nicholas as his tag team partner at WrestleMania. Okay, I'm not trying to hate on Nicholas, okay? I really feel like that was a great moment at WrestleMania. But I'm putting this on the list because they could have gone with literally anybody, but they had to go with this guy. Think about all the possibilities that could have been Braun Strowman's tag team partner at WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio, Neville, Batista, The Rock, anybody. But they had to go with this decision. I know it was a great moment having Nicholas, the son of referee John Cone, to be in the same ring, to be in the ring at the biggest pay-per-view of all, WrestleMania. But I mean, literally, did they have to go with this? I was so excited. I was so hyped to see who Braun was going to pick his partner to be as. And they went with this, and I was totally disappointed. If I would have booked that differently, I would have had an actual wrestler be Braun's partner instead of a child. But the writing is already on the wall. Number 3, Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel is the biggest example that WWE will do anything for money. WWE's relationship with Saudi Arabia has been pretty bad, to be honest. The Greatest Royal Rumble didn't displease anybody, and we thought that show would be done deal. Nothing bad would ever come with this. But we were all wrong. The Crown Jewel pay-per-view was literally one of the worst. The number one worst pay-per-view. Not in 2018, but the history of WWE. Let's break it down. There was the WWE 8-Man World Cup tournament where every wrestler was American. When you think about the World Cup, when you think about the definition of World Cup, you mean many athletes from different countries or different nationalities competing in that tournament. But every person in that tournament was American. You had a very forgettable match between the New Day and the Bar. Brock Lesnar regaining the Universal Champion. Shane McMahon, who wasn't even in the tournaments, winning the entire thing. And then there was Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Kane and The Undertaker reliving the days of 1999 and 2018. There were many rumors that this pay-per-view was going to be canceled, but it never came to fruition. John Cena and Daniel Bryan had to back out of the freaking pay-per-view because they wanted no part of it. And then there was the speculations that one of their journalists, was tortured and killed leading up into this event. Well, it seems that the relationship between WWE and Saudi Arabia is not going away anytime soon. So, we're stuck with this car crash of a dealership. Number 2, the Four Horsewomen of MMA. Now, I know what you all are probably going to say. Get your comments out of the way now. Oh, Xavier, what are you talking about? Baszler and Baszler are pretty much better than any of the women on the roster right now. Well, you know what? I don't care because this is my list, and I put this on the list for reasons. First, there's Ronda Rousey. I'll get this Baszler in a minute. First, there's Ronda Rousey, who debuted totally overshadowed Asuka's win for the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. You know something? They were going to have her win that thing. They were going to have a non-women's wrestler win a first ever for the women of WWE. Then they were hyping up her contract signing. She tried to get herself over by slamming Triple H through a table. Discount Batista. And then there was her match with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. Kurt Angle was going to make it less interesting. You want to know something? I was rooting for Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. That's how much I despise her. Then she ran through everybody on the women's roster, breaking arms, totally injuring their women's roster. Her getting suspended was probably the best thing to happen. That's what she gets for actually accepting a match. Just being spoon-fed a match with Nia Jax instead of fighting for one. But then she bulldozed Alexa Bliss and is now the Raw Women's Champion. And then there's Shayna Baszler on NXT. Sure, she might be an amazing wrestler, and her feud with Kairi Sane has been amazing. But every match she is in is totally one-sided, and I know that's supposed to be the point because that's the reason for her character. But now she has Duke and Shafir, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir helping her out in matches. The only reason the Four Horsewomen of MMA were brought into WWE was for this match for them to go up against the Four Horsewomen of WWE, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. If it's for that, then only bring them in for that specific reason. Don't have Rousey hold the belt, don't have Baszler hold the belt, and don't have Duke and Shafir lingering around in matches. But I guess we're just stuck with Rousey and Baszler and Duke and Shafir for many years to come. And the number one worst thing to happen to WWE in 2018 is Roman Reigns versus leukemia. Say what you want about Roman Reigns. He's a lousy wrestler, and he's a lousy character on TV. But you have to remember, he's still a human being. And he's probably one of the hardest workers in the company right now. He's the hardest working wrestler in WWE, and his booking doesn't totally depict that. Roman Reigns had to relinquish the Universal Championship because of his returning leukemia that he's been suffering with for 11 years now. Roman is off of TV and is still fighting the disease as of this moment. But hopefully, we pray for him to return to the ring and to return, and for him to reclaim that Universal Championship. And it's really heartbreaking to see for something like this to happen to a long-time worker of the WWE. This would never have happened to John Cena or the Hulk Hogan or the Stone Cold. But of all people, it had to happen to Roman. Roman, he did us all a favor when he ended the Lesnar nightmare at SummerSlam. But due to this, it's probably going to be a long time before he becomes the Universal Champion once again. All I can say is, everybody, please pray for Roman to come back to the ring, because the company really needs him now. Please, we all pray for him to come back to the ring and for him to beat leukemia in this battle. Hashtag pray for Reigns. Well, everybody, that was what I thought was the worst stuff that happened in WWE 2018. Join me tomorrow where I will count down my top 10 best of WWE 2018. And it might be better than this one. Make sure you put a like on the video, click the subscribe button, click the bell, and share whatever you want. I will see you all tomorrow.